You're most welcome in this session of environmental health. We are going to have a look at environmental health. So what is environmental health? Environmental health is the science and practice of preventing human injury and illness and promoting the well-being of individuals by identifying and evaluating sources and hazardous agents, and at the same time limiting exposures to hazardous physical, chemical, and biological agents. These agents are found in soil, they are found in air, they are found in food, and they're also found in other environmental media or settings that might affect our human health. And when we talk about environmental health in the wider perspective, we are actually addressing the physical, the biological, and the chemical factors that are external to an individual and all other related factors impacting our behavior. Also, environmental health can be seen in two areas majorly. For that matter, types, if you wish, outdoor and indoor environment. If you can have a look at this slide, it is showing us the comparison of the indoor environment in detail. The upper one is more spaced, the upper one is more ventilated than the lower one, and also it is more protected than the lower one. So that one would imply that in the environmental health of the upper picture, as you are having a look at it, is better off than the one that is below. So basically, what do we mean by environmental health? The indoor environmental health. When we talk about that, we are referring to three main aspects. The first aspect, as you saw in the diagram, is crowding. By crowding, we mean that when there is crowding, there's a risk of infectious diseases increasing. And these are common infections that all of us know. The lower respiratory tract infections, the upper respiratory tract infections, and things like flu, things like a cough, things like tuberculosis, and other diseases, including gastroenteritis. Gastroenteritis is the infection of the stomach and the intestine. You can all get these things the way our setting we are in is. Then the second aspect is smoke. Smoke as a factor increases the risk of asthma and also other infections like lower respiratory tract infections, like ear infections where you have discharges coming from your ears. Then the low birth weight in children, if the mothers who are pregnant are exposed to smoke, especially to our sisters and our mothers in the rural areas, even in the city, who are still using wood, firewood for cooking, they are at risk of having children of low birth weight. And children of low birth weight is a birth problem in the sense that their different organs of the body are not well developed, and therefore it would compromise their natural being as they become adults. We also have heart diseases, the stroke, and lung cancer. The third aspect is on humidity. The normal range is supposed to range between 30 to 60%, but if it is either below, if it is too hot or it is too cold, imagine a situation where you have fog in the morning, or imagine a situation where it is a drought season, which we usually experience in Uganda between January and March. You are likely to have a risk of increased lung problems like a cough and others, and also things like headaches, and then collapsing from nowhere and heat strokes because of the high humidities and low humidities. As farmers, it is therefore important to consider the environment of the things that we use in our setting. And some of the things that we use in our settings, we have the barns and the silos. Are they important? Yes. Why? When you keep something in the silos or the barns, you keep like our feeds, animal feeds, like maize feeds. Usually, sometimes they come with the dust. And if you remove them, you don't clean again, the dust will remain there. And sometimes we even, our houses, the silos where we are housing the food stores, they contain molds, they contain chemicals and dangerous gases because of the fumigation that comes from what we have stored, like a maize. Then becomes dangerous to our human health. These molds can cause respiratory problems, things like a farmer's lung, which is an allergic lung inflammation, which cannot be treated by antibiotics. And this one, the farmer's lung, is a very common problem among farmers. Also, why is it important? It's because when the barns or the silos are not well ventilated, like many of them are, then there are high chances of having coughs, of having fevers, of having muscle pain, due to the dust which is dirty, which comes from them, comes with the bacteria, comes with the viruses, comes with the parasitic infections of different variables, which then affect us. We become sick. When we become sick, we cannot work, we can't go to our farms. If we don't go to our farms, we cannot produce. And if we don't produce, we don't have food. Even a surplus to sell, we don't have. Our income decreases. So anything that affects our food, our income, our productivity, affects our well-being. Therefore, it is against that background that we need to understand the foundations of a healthy indoor environment. And the foundations are 9. The first one, we have already talked about it, ventilation. Ventilation should be good in our farms, in the silos, in the barns, in the animal houses. Ventilation should be good, where air enters free and goes out free, and there is no congestion there. The air quality should be good, should not be smelling. If it is smelling, then there's a problem that really needs to be addressed and indicates that there is bacterial activity, the germs are increasing and infections prevalences are high. The other issue is the thermal health. Thermal health will mean the heat, the level or the grade of heat in the animal houses, in the silos are very important. Because a situation, if arises and the heat is too high in the silo, it can even burst. And if it bursts, it can hit or injure the farmer and also those people who are working from our farms. Then moisture is very important. Moisture in the animal houses, it should be appropriate within the 30 to 60% range. Humidity, which we have just talked on earlier. Dust and pests, we have talked about them. Animal houses, even on the farm at large, should not have dust in them. They should not have pests in them. And therefore, we should always ensure that we clean the dust and also rid the farm environment from the dust and pests. Then we also have safety and security. These are very, very important because if our safety is compromised, then we cannot be productive. Also, water quality that we give to the animals, even to the human beings that we take on the farms, should be of acceptable levels to avoid infections. And also, we should avoid noise pollution in our farms. For example, if you have a lot of noise on the farm and you cannot have enough milk when you're milking the cows, when they are layers, the chicken which are laying eggs, they won't lay the eggs as per expectation. So we should limit the levels of noise in our farms. Lighting is another foundation. It's very important, especially in the night. During the day as well, we have the natural light of the sun. But in the night, it is very, very dangerous to operate in the animal houses, even at our homes, and generally on the farm without proper lighting. There are a lot of issues that you need to appreciate, and I know you have appreciated this one. Thank you so much.